Hey, welcome aboard. Welcome to the Hurricane Spliffy Show. 87 Apollo. Welcome aboard. Happy 420-ish. Running a little late today. We had some technical difficulties, but we made it. So here we are. I have to start off with some kind of sad local news. A very good friend of mine and drinking buddy went in hospital last Saturday, and he's been diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. He has they did a bone marrow biopsy on him Monday, and turns out he has no immune system at this point. So he's at Rush Hospital in Chicago, and there's going to be a benefit for him out at Custer Keg on August 17th from noon to midnight. It's a $20 admission, and that covers food and drink, draft beer, and there'll be door prizes, and let's see what they say they're going to have here. They're going to have 2 live DJs, one inside, one out. There'll be a beanbag tournament, $10 buy-in for that. Jello shots, drink specials, raffles. They have a lot of baskets, donations from local businesses. I think there might be a TV being raffled off. So I'll talk about this later in the show too. If you can make it to the benefit, fine. If you can't, stop by the bar and make a donation. They're good folks. They live about 70 miles from the hospital, and just the gas to and from, parking, and food up there on a daily basis just to see them is expensive. So we got to cover that too. He, being a farmer, doesn't have any health insurance. It's going to cost him a friggin' arm and a leg. So, and whether or not he survives it is questionable. Damn, questionable as well. So, we're all hoping he makes it. Not being the praying kind. I can't say I'm praying for him, but I'm sure a lot of people are. So, I'm hoping he comes back, because he's one of the few people I talk to up at the bar. I'm not the talkative type. I'm more of a listener. So there's too many Trumpophiles around here. I get to talking to people, and it tends to end up in an argument. So there's one fellow in particular that I happened to run into the other day, and since we always get into it anyway, I just started the conversation with an insult. So I walked in and I said, "Hey Tom," I says, "I defended you the other day." I said, Somebody said if Tom was on fire, I would piss on him and put him out. And I said, well, I would. So he wanted to know who said that about him. So he actually thought it was true. So I told him not to worry about it. I'd piss on him anytime. So. Jim Torres, welcome aboard. No, there's no more Dog Pound channel. It was necessary for the lost dog to retire. So let's move on to some of the topics I have for today. I keep notes. I wrote some stuff down and throw them up in the sky. Anyway, I want to talk about a new California law that they passed this week. It's a new ballot law. It's you can't get your name on the ballot in California to run for president or to run for governor if you don't disclose your federal tax returns. No matter who the fuck you are. And even if you're being audited, they don't seem to give a shit. So either Trump reveals his tax returns or he's not going to be on the California ballot. And the beauty of this is that 18 other states are considering the same thing. So I think this could be interesting come 2020. If he's not on the ballot, who's going to vote for him? Yeah, you got to love California politics. Honestly, you're right. You got to love California politics. Yes, they hate Trump. But then what's to like, you know? Seriously, what's to like? Yes, Jim, welcome aboard. I salute you, and it's good to have you as a member of the crew. One of my main topics today is guy we're losing. He was a Trump appointee, but still he was on the right side of things. And that's the Director of National Intelligence, Dan Coates. He tried to tell Trump that the Russians were interfering in the election. He tried to tell Trump not to. You know what? He was in, Jim, Buster was in my lap 5 minutes before the show started, and then he wanted to go outside. Mrs. Spliffy was outside, and then he wanted to go out there. He heard the hose going, and he on the deck, and he just said, I'm out of here. So otherwise, he was up here for like half an hour, and then all of a sudden he wanted to go outside. So he was here. Maybe he'll come back. We'll see. It's entirely up to him. I have no control over his actions. He's an independent spirit. Anyway, Dan Coates was opposed to this whole relationship with Putin. He was stunned when Trump announced last summer that Putin was coming to the White House in the fall. Thank God that didn't happen. Uh, he's really had a problem with this whole relationship that Trump has had with Kim Jong Un of North Korea. The guy has done nothing but tried to warn Trump about all of this shit. And Trump has done nothing to give him a fucking hard time. But Trump has had problems with our intelligence community in general. He speaks bad about the FBI. He speaks bad about the CIA. He's trying to he replaced James Comey because he wouldn't play his game. Now the new guy has said, look, Russia's interfering. Other countries are going to try to interfere. Trump still denies. Just the other day, he says to a reporter, the reporter says to him, ask him about Russian interference. And he says, you don't really believe that, do you? I mean, come on. How many people have to tell him? You know why he refuses to believe it? Because then he has to admit he didn't win the fucking election, honestly. Okay? That's what it's all about. He'd have to admit that he shouldn't be president. But, so Coates resigned. He says, I'm fucking out of here. I can't do this shit no more. You guys are fucking goofy. Well, you guy is fucking goofy. Okay. So at the Mueller hearing, this guy Ratcliffe from Texas, okay, John Ratcliffe, uh, on House on House which one was it? The Intelligence Committee. He he jumps down fucking Mueller's throat, you know, and like the whole fucking the whole part two of the Mueller report was illegal. Shouldn't have even fucking happened. So Trump was totally enamored by this, of course. So he says, here's the guy to replace Coates. Okay. I'll give it to this guy. I don't know, wherever they are. Okay. I'll give it to the other dude. So he picks Ratcliffe for the job. So Ratcliffe, he's been going around telling people, he used to be federal prosecutor in Texas. Okay. And he's been going around telling people for years that he prosecuted a whole shitload of terrorists. Okay, and so they press checked his records and discovered that they can't find any records of him prosecuting any terrorists. So a spokesperson for him came out and they said this. They said he opened, managed, and supervised a lot of terrorist cases. So apparently these are synonyms for prosecuted. Uh, Opening and managing and supervising are synonyms for prosecuting. I never heard that before. I'll have to look it up in the law, you know. So, but news to me. So, but now, since he's been on the, on the Intelligence Committee, uh, this guy Ratcliffe, since he's been on the Intelligence Committee, he he's dodged every fucking overseas fact finding trip he's supposed to have gone on. Okay, and he's frequently AWOL for any Intelligence Committee meetings. He he's an asshole. Okay, and before he was a federal prosecutor in East Texas, he was a mayor of a town of 8,000 people. That's the biggest fucking job he ever had. So before he did nothing in as a federal prosecutor, he was a mayor of a nothing town. So, and he's only been a representative in Texas for a short period of time. So, out yesterday and said I'm withdrawing him as a candidate for this job because the press did such a job of vetting him for me that I don't, we don't have to go through any kind of vetting process. Thanks for saving us the money. So, so he said, the fake news, people, I guess they ain't so fake. Saved the government a lot of bucks this time, us fake newsers. So, those same people that he falls for everything saved Congress a lot of money. So, wow, you know what that stands for? Well, wait, now what do we got on board here? Brian, shalom, blessings to you too, as well. Did you get the Christ is coming from Tommy? No, no, I made this up. Can you read the fine print? It says, try to look busy. I make up all my own t-shirts. Anyway, we're on to the weed of the week. This weed of the week is Turbo Space Cake. It's potent, 30.42% THC, sativa hybrid, and quite tasty, I might add. Hey, Buster. Buster's down here. Are you coming up? No, huh? Okay. So, I was enjoying my hit there. Let's see. We got yes, yeah. He likes the indica. I'm better up with the sativas during this show, though. Otherwise, you see what happens to me by the end. I mean, I get pretty faced. I need a drink of something here. I have a mug with a disappearing handle. Voodoo Ninja, welcome aboard. Whimsy Creek Art, welcome aboard to you as well. It's a good thing I got this cruise ship instead of that rickety old thing I had. Now there's plenty of room for all of us. And we can all travel first class, you know. None of that steerage shit for anybody. You are also high. That's good. It's a good place to be. Well, I'm feeling pretty good after about half that spliff. Foraging Seeker, hello. There's always room for one more. In first class. Excuse me. Bubbly stuff. So, something tragic is happening ecologically again. Even something, I mean, something so severe. This is, oh shit, this, oh hey, wait, before I do that, I gotta tell you, um, since I'm all by myself again, I did bring along my stoner buddy. Okay, so my stoner buddy's here to keep me company. So anyway, this is something really tragic. All right. Uh, you know we all know that the glaciers are shrinking. Okay, but the Arctic Circle is drying out, and much of that is peat. And you know what peat is? It's slowly decaying vegetation, and the peat traps carbon dioxide from the atmosphere in its wet state. Okay. And that's a good thing. You know, it's been absorbing the carbon dioxide that we've been producing. So it's drying out. And that carbon dioxide is being released into the atmosphere. And it's creating one huge gas bomb over the Arctic. And as a result, more than 100 wildfires have broken out within the Arctic Circle since June of this year. And the, I mean, the effects that this is having on our atmosphere are incalculable. And of course, the more it burns, the more the peat dries out. And the more carbon dioxide is released, and the the more gas is released into the atmosphere, and the more the fire is fueled. And I don't know how this can be stopped. Uh, 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 121 megatons of carbon dioxide were released this summer. See, the equivalent to amount that released by the the nation of Belgium in an entire year. And what occurred? This is called a climate change feedback loop. Is what occurs here. It just keeps feeding itself. So I don't know if they're powerless to stop this or not. That 2030 mark they've been talking about, that might not be it. It might be a whole lot sooner than that. I don't think that this was something they expected. Nobody ever thought that all this gas that was trapped, in the peat would be released, by the receding of the glaciers and all this being exposed, and all this sludge and everything that's up there being, all the moisture evaporating. That's what's happening, folks. And think about it, 100 fires since June. It's only the beginning of August. I mean, that's 100 fires in 2 months. Bode well for our planet. And peat moss has been dried out and used as fuel for centuries, and it burns slowly. I mean, that's why. You know, it's been used, for fuel and for cooking by primitives for centuries, going way, way, way back. It's a good combustible material when it's dry. Burns for a long time, and it's not that easy to put out. And if we're talking acres and acres and acres of it, uh, this is not a, this is a huge fucking world disaster. Not to mention the, I got ashes all over me. I mean, not to mention the amount of pollutants being put into the air as a result of this. I mean, look what happens when a single volcano goes off. You know, it shuts down air travel all over. I would imagine a lot of air travel is over the poles. I would imagine this will be affected. So I don't know. I'm scared. What do we got up on the board here? Make America green again. Yeah, I just hope it just doesn't, like, burn like a match all the way down the planet, Uh, barrage of nasturtium flowers. Food plants are ornaments too. Yes, they are. Mrs. Shepherd, welcome aboard. Jim Torres, Christ is coming. Okay. Is fluoride good for you? I don't know. I drink well water. Foraging seeker. Had first thought to grow food in the home space. So much grows wild, even just outside door. Been drawn to water-rich succulents and a couple pounds and an anthurium of much diversity. Thanks for making it bigger. Not in high doses. Okay. The Jerusalem artichoke will take over a garden. So will mint. Foraging seeker. Water is life. Plants hold water. No water through conscious presence with plants. A friend of mine cut down a cottonwood tree. That thing, just water just gushed out of that thing. Unbelievable amount of water in a cottonwood tree. Chanterelles. Morels are big around here. We have a big morel season in the spring. That's about the only mushroom they seek around here. Well, that and sheep's heads. Bud 710, welcome aboard. Shepherd's Treehouse, welcome aboard to you too. Gosh, we got a bunch of folks today. It's a big crowd. Hey, Hey, while you're all here, I want to mention once again, a very dear friend of mine and a local here in the area, uh, Dave McCorkle, uh, was admitted to Rush Hospital in Chicago last Saturday. Excuse me, I get a little choked up. He's a drinking buddy of mine, and uh, he was diagnosed with acute acute myeloid leukemia, and they did a bone marrow biopsy Monday, and he has no immune system. He's a he's a local farmer and a Harley enthusiast. And he's got a family, grown boys. He's in his mid 40s. But anyway, uh, hospital's about 70 miles away, and they have to travel up there every day to see him. And there's gas, parking, meals, and uh, he doesn't have any insurance, so they're going to have a benefit for him. If anybody lives in the area, it's August 17th down at Custer Keg here, and it's a $20 donation. Includes food and draft beer, door prizes. There'll be raffles and games, Jello shots and drink specials, and other food available other than the hot dogs and hamburgers. That'll be the free stuff. That'll also be the full menu, I'm pretty sure. So come on down. If you can't make the event and you're in the area, stop in and make a donation. Oh, I need a toke. So, leukemia is very rough. AML is aggressive. Go ahead, 710. He's at the best hospital with the best doctors in Chicago. Yeah, yeah, that's what I understand. He's at a good place at least. Interesting. Jerusalem artichoke. Oh, that must be. Oh, Jerusalem artichokes. Yeah. Okay. Was he a smoker? Yes. Yes. Well, it's sad when friends die. The practice of medicine begins with food nutrition. I would agree with that. Although I've eaten like a pig most of my life, I'm eating better now. Meanwhile, has been linked to pest. While he is a farmer, been a farmer all his life. His father was a farmer. He's been around pesticides all his life. Jello shots. Don't tell Voodoo. Okay. Oh, they're gonna have some sort of chocolate pudding shot thing going there too. So yeah, like I say, he's a farmer. You know, all his life. You're right. The older generation did smoke. They didn't have the benefits of the knowledge the young people do. I know. I don't. I. I. In 1976, I was in the hospital. I was going to have back surgery. They told me I was going to be unconscious for 4 days. I said to myself, "This is an excellent time to quit smoking cigarettes." And the reason I did it is I said to myself, "They're 35 cents a pack now. Why should I waste my money on something that isn't going to get me off?" Okay. I mean, I was smoking weed, so I'll spend my money on weed, and why spend it on cigarettes? They don't give me a buzz anyway. I mean, they were making me cough. I get up in the morning, hack, hack, hack. And I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. And they were giving me Demerol to keep me asleep. And at the time, I was going around telling people the best way to quit smoking is to do Demerol. You know, I highly recommended Demerol as a means to quit smoking. After 4 days on Demerol, completely unconscious, I never once again craved a cigarette. Never had another one in the rest of my life. Let me see here. Forging seeker, I still eat poorly, though increasingly less so. Has been a journey, a process of weaning off Babylon's sugar tip. I see. I'll jump to pesticide exposure in the future, Lindsay. As cause for leukemia. Yes, okay. That's hard seeker. I live a canned good life, dog pound. Would be good to prove it linked to pesticide exposure for statistical purposes. Might be good to prove for financial reasons that I don't know what kind of future his family has. Look up recent cases against Monsanto. Exactly. Yeah, they reduced the settlement in California. There was a big settlement in California, and then they cut it back. rather it goes where it goes. Forging secret. Monsanto gets hammered, but it moved offshore and changed name. Now it's for the people to stop buying the products produced using their poisons. Whimsy Creek Art, definitely boycott that evil company. Excuse me. Yeah. You know, oh, my eyes. Boy. Did you see that there's some changes going on in the House of Representatives? Looks like there's some folks don't want to come back. There are 8 Republican members of the House of Representatives who don't plan to run come 2020. They don't want to run for re-election. I think they're embarrassed by the direction the party has taken, and one of those 8 is Will Hurd of Texas, the only black Republican in the House of Representatives. And I think that speaks a lot. He's in a hard-fought district as well. I mean, he's in a district that's along the border, uh, right along along the southern border on with Mexico, and I think he could lose that district easily to a Democratic candidate. And I think Texas could be a state that could easily be lost to a Democratic candidate in the presidential election. What you want, Buster? You want to go outside? But there's I mean, I guess if you're in the House of Representatives right now and you're a Republican, it's just not a fun place to be. So why stay there? So the House of Representatives is only going to get more and more Democratic. And then you got what's going on with oh, you know what? I completely forgot about Trump's lie this week. Here he goes, and he talks about the 9/11 first responders, and they're finally getting what they deserve after being held up by the Senate, by Mitch McConnell, you know, Moscow Mitch, you know, by being held up by him and the rest of the Republicans in the Senate, and even after they finally got what they got, you know, there were still two Republican holdouts. Okay, two Republicans who said no to those 9/11 first responders. And so Trump makes a speech, and what does he do? He said he was there. He was down there. But he wouldn't call him. He says, I was there, I was down there. But I wouldn't call myself a first responder. You know, no, I wouldn't call myself a first responder. You know why? Because he wasn't. Nor was he down there. Nobody saw him there. Because there were people that were down there, and they would have known if he was. And that wasn't the only lie he told about 9/11. You know, after 9/11 went down, you know, after the buildings went down, he said, after that, he said, then he had the tallest building in New York. He didn't have the tallest building in New York. He also said that there were people on the other side in New Jersey, that there were Arabs in New Jersey cheering when the towers went down, and that was a lie. He said he witnessed that. That was a lie. He also said he had hundreds of friends who died in that, and that was a lie. And then later on, he said he had lots of friends who died in that, but he didn't go to a single funeral. Would you go to one? Maybe just one. Maybe one. If you lost lots of friends, wouldn't you go to maybe one of their funerals? You can go to any funerals around then. None. I don't know. Guy's an asshole. What do we got up here? Okay, let's see. Biggest insight. Biggest insight job part is training in corruption. But he wasn't there. Right? He wasn't there. 9/11 got us where we are today. 100% police state, and about to get far worse. I read too many Mad magazines as a child. You too? uh, I read too many magazines, Mad magazines too. That's what I'm laughing at. Oh, we're a minute away from 420. Prepare yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. And you too, my stoner buddy. See, I've been having to limit the length of the show because we're using a really old computer and it gets hot and I start to go out of sync. So we'll try to go as long as we can. It's 4:20. Happy 4:20, everybody. The battery gets hot and go out of sync. So we'll try to go as long as we can and until the thing fucks up. But I might be fucking up already. And it looks like I am. Let me know how well the sound is coming through. If you can hear me okay. Tell me how long ago I was fucking up. It's not big twice. That's good, Whimsy Creek Art. Hell yeah, you will. A lone tote with young minutes off to the showers and then hardware store. Nowadays, after years of shopping this local store, it will be the first time I browse houseplant section. All right. Super sour diesel tastes like pop. Oh, tastes like potpourri. Oh. Strain of the day is poison fruit. What the hell they say this was? I forgot already. Oh, turbo space cake. You're in the market for houseplants too, see? Oh, okay. Green crack. Oh, I like green crack. Mother-in-law's tongue. That's a good one. Of course, you need some aloe. A nice succulent like aloe. You need that. Plus, it's medicinal. Ooh, blue dream tonight, huh? Good choice. Orchids and African violets. Blue dream for breakfast, eh? Mind readers, huh? Seeing all the leaves over your own space. With plants and dried flowers. And a lost bird inspired me to invest in some energy and good vibe making it. Oh, old school Northern Lights crossed with Super Skunk. Sounds good to me. But then everything sounds good to me. You have an okay medical pot card coming this week. There are a dozen dispensaries located within a mile of my residence. A dozen. Wow. I have I have two within 20 miles of me. Well, I'm glad you're able to catch the show. That's great. That sounds weird, Foraging Seeker. There is a little succulent with a presence like snapping jaws with teeth reaching up from the earth, and ones which look like rocks, then split open to reveal another pair that are they split then flower. Do you mean just like green and bumpy and stuff? Grams are 13.50 and you're used to paying 5. Grams are $20 here. Baby boy, people make it harder than it really. Oh, growing. Foraging Seeker. Do you know the name? It sounds so cool. Yeah, $20 a gram. It's a high price to pay. You're right. Taxes are crazy here. That's what they charge at the dispensary, and the prices are just going up. We used to be able to get halves for 140, and now they're 100. Well, no, I can now I can get grams for 60, but then and then I get my 10% vet discount on that. Dog Pound, you go to a more expensive dispensary than I do. You go to a different one. LSHINSM. $2 sales. You got. Who wants to be Davey Boy's 100th subscriber? I don't know. Illegal in this state till the 1st of January. Oh, that's no good. Pay $300 an ounce for bottom shelf. $80+. Wow. Wow. Oh, half. Oh, okay. That's still that's some good prices there. I mean, Illinois is just crazy price wise. You know, and, it's like I wish I could go to Canada, for my insulin. Seriously. I've been filling my own cartridges. I buy this stuff called wax liquefier, and you buy a gram of wax, and you put 2 milliliters of this wax liquefier in the wax, and you put it in the microwave for about 17 to 20 seconds, and you stir it all up, and you can fill 3 1 milliliter cartridges with it, and there you go. Uh, and it seems to work out just fine for me. And then, of course, I cook. I like to make candies. As many of you know from all those shows that aren't there anymore. Damn it. Uh, I believe we made caramels, right? We made gummies. I did make chocolate, but that was such a lengthy process. we'd have been on forever because it took forever for the cocoa butter to melt because I used a metal bowl and a heating pad because I didn't want the the cocoa butter to get above 98 degrees because then the chocolate isn't handleable. It melts in your fingers. I wanted it to be like a candy bar where you could hold it and not be all melty. So I had to really carefully monitor the temperature, and so it took like forever. What I should have done is grated the cocoa butter. I think it would have melted a lot quicker instead of trying to melt it from one huge chunk. Yeah, that was silly me, But then, of course, if I would have done it when I wasn't stoned, maybe then that might have made a difference. But of course, who makes chocolate when they're not stoned? But it came out scary good. I had dragon tears that I bought uh, from the clinic and the dispensary. I call it either or. Anyway, whatever here. And so in Oakland, California, it's begun. What has begun? May the spores carry far across the land. What has begun in Oakland? See you around, Foraging Seeker. Thanks for coming aboard. Pick out some nice plants. Don't forget that aloe. Reasons Range. Hi, welcome aboard, Reasons Range. Getting some shrooms from the store. Yes, you did catch us. We decided to just keep on going. I still had spliff left, so we just kept on going today. I'm choking. I think I overmedicated. Um, there, that's better. were talking strains, and then all sorts of stuff, and now I don't remember. You got a new grow light today. You got rid of it. Well, then let's open it. Oh, we've been up to all sorts of shit. I danced. You should have been here. I've been enjoying playing with my HTC Vive Pro in virtual reality. Reorganized my room for a large play space. Hella fun. That sounds cool. Um, we did this. What you see behind me here. Um, we have me now floating in space. Buster and I did this. Yes, I do quite the merengue. Thank you. Not completely. I wasn't I wasn't chairless. Now I'm completely chairless in space. It's just the SPLIFFY and nobody else. And I can make things disappear, like my arm. Or the handle on my mug. Yes, Buster is very helpful indeed. Oh, by the way, the reason I wear a hat is because the top of my head disappears if I take it off. So we're not going to do that. I don't want to scare anybody. Or who wants who wants to see my psychedelic hair? Anybody else? Anybody else? Can I get one more vote? One more vote. One more vote. One more vote. One more vote. Here it goes. There you go, folks. Bit of psychedelia. I hope that stream. Okay, okay. You're tripping me out. Looks like I poured being out of here. You're bald. Trip. You're gonna grow some green monsters with that. Oh, oh. Uh. That was fun. I like that. That was fun. Well, I just got my hair yellowed yesterday, so it was nice and bright. It's nice and bright and green, nice and bright green too. So showed up really well, or didn't show up really well, I guess you'd say. So uh, that was funny. So let's just let it go. This was just a lot of fun today. What's my shirt say this time? It says, Christ is coming, try to look busy. So, only if you believe that sort of thing. If you don't believe that sort of thing, you got nothing to worry about. You know? It's a lot. It's a much easier life to live. You know, it takes a lot off your shoulders. You know, it's much less stressful. You know, it's like, you know, thanks for consider Whimsy Creek Art. Thanks for considering this to be a great stream. And it's fun being a part of this all. Dinner time? Okay. Well, you take care of her, and uh, lots of love to y'all. I'm I'm somewhat distracted right now. I have I read I read what you write on my big screen TV, and there's a fly on it, and he's like, there he goes. Now he's gone. Okay, that's the fly. Uh, so where do I go from here? I guess I don't know. I'm just gonna wrap it up. Um, yeah, he usually does get them too. He usually does get the flies. He's uh, he's one of those kind of dogs. Uh, my aunt used to have a dog that would run under the bed if there was a fly in the house, and he actually had to kill the fly and show it to the dog to get it to come out from under the fucking bed. Unbelievable dog. Some dogs do the craziest shit. I love them. They're the best animals in the world. Dogs make the best people. You know? They can be sneaky, but they're still great friends. They're easier to live with than most folks. Of course, well, yeah, people do it too. When they're young, they'll shit in the corner. So that could happen. You know, Buster. Buster's lying here at my feet, as is Heidi. She's here too. They're both just lying here. They're here. They're here because it's going on 6, and their food bowls are empty. So that's why they're lying here, anxiously awaiting. It's supper time. So, so I think I'm gonna wrap this up. So it's been a pleasure having all of you aboard, and I mean, and I mean all of you. I mean, seriously, there was such a great group, and hope y'all come back next week. And uh, like I always say, there's nothing funny about peace, love, and understanding. See you next time. Bye now.